Have you ever wondered what it's really like to sail to other countries? To dive amazing locations and explore the world on a yacht? Then come with us. You're joining us today in Fiji off Viti Levu in the Mamanucca Islands. We need to reprovision, and so there's really three places you can do that on the western side of Viti Levu, which is Lukimyu. You can pull into Vuda Point, which is a small marina, or you can go to Yasawa Island, which is you'd say more modern marina, real estate / hotel sort of complex island attached to the mainland. Can't get into Yasawa, completely booked. Problem with Lukimyu is you anchor off and then you take your tender in, but there's nowhere really safe to put your tender. So it ends up getting smashed against a rusty wharf and stuff like that. So Vuda Point is the place that most cruisers like to go. They don't take forward bookings, so you really got to call them the day before and say, are there any berths available? And it's sort of like a large round hole in the water, and everyone sort of med-moors back in a reasonably sort of industrial area. It's near a mobile site, but it is the closest point to the Mamanucca group of islands, and it's only a short drive or bus ride to either Lukimyu or to Nandi, probably about 20 minutes, something like that. So we've called them this morning, and Denise has managed to secure us what we think is a med-mooring type berth, so that we can go in tomorrow or later today and reprovision. Ready for our son Kobe coming over. So he's coming with his family, and so we really need to reprovision for ideally a couple of weeks. We're just heading into Vuda Point Marina after hovering out in the messiness, should we call it. They've just given us instruction to come in and have 2 stern lines attached to the boat. Good morning. This morning I'm going to change the V-belt on the starboard side. I'll show you in a sec, but it wears down and gets thinner and thinner and thinner, so I'm going to proactively change it, even though it's not quite yet due. There is the alternator V-belt, and if I put a new one side by side, you can see how much thinner it's worn down. With a bit of practice and knowing exactly which tools to use, I've got this down to about a 10-minute job. Now comes the hard part. That is the new gates belt on there, like so. Now, just put this hose back, put a zip tie around it to secure it, and then tighten the belt over here. Time to walk the plank. One of the things I find interesting about Fiji is that it's literally the friendliest country on the planet. Like just a second ago, we were parked at the traffic lights waiting for the lights to go green, and someone walks past and says "Bulla" to Denise sitting in the car. Yeah, I think I want to go straight this time, yeah?
Yes.
But how did they become so friendly? Because if you go back a few hundred years, well, probably 300 years, they were cannibals. They used to literally kill the neighbouring village, crack their skulls open and eat their rivals. So it's quite the change. Maybe they're smiling because they're thinking you're looking tasty. No, they're just unbelievably friendly people.
My reply was that they're so happy because they're not eating each other anymore. But maybe that's a little simplistic. We're heading into Nandi today to go to the local markets. that much? That's it, I think. I was after lemongrass, but I don't think so. So I reckon we're at 15 stores in 3 towns today.
Yep, and $1,500.
As a big restock that includes
Massive restock.
wine and beer often is. But overall, Jamie, very successful.
Very successful.
This has now got layers of potato in it, which is good.
We're looking for, I think we've found, the Garden of the Sleeping Giant. We have found it.
Gardens. Very well kept. Was a good little find, I think. It was a very nice walk in lovely weather with beautiful flowers. Very well kept garden. One of my best efforts, I think. It's a little whale.
We're going to pick up the kids from helicopter.
Pretty exciting.
Hola! Hola!
Just got our first delivery from Farm Boy. Farm Boy's a supplier in the western side of Fiji that do wholesale veggies and stuff, and they will send it out to a whole lot of islands and places. So if you're a bit remote, you don't need to come in all the time. So they've just come in on the ferry. Very flexible with their payment terms. Don't want any money up front. Just wanted us to pay next time we're in dinner hour, 2 weeks later. But so far, produce looks really good. We've got, I've already unpacked some stuff, but that's tofu and bean sprouts, cabbage, jackfruit curry pieces, because we have some vegans on the boat at the moment. And mushrooms, which was amazing, because that was not expected. And a whole lot of herbs. So I've got rosemary, parsley, coriander, mint, fresh basil. So we will have to have pizza tomorrow night, Jamie, because we've got basil. Let's see what the avocados look like. Oh, lemongrass. There is a watermelon, Jamie. Look at that. Yeah, you have little faith. That was me, not you. Lemongrass. Impossible to get in Fiji so far. 20 years after teaching Kobe to dive in Fiji, I get to go for another dive with him. Thanks for watching. If you like the episode, subscribe, give us a thumbs up, and any comments you have, pop it in the comment section below. Thanks. Just had Kobe, Tegan and Bubba Henley on the boat for 3 weeks, which was amazing. We were in Vuda Marina, and the only way to get on and off the boat is by walking the plank, literally. I hate it. Don't you dare. You are not walking backwards and filming. Get off. So we're walking around the bowl that is Vuda Marina on the way to get a hire car.
They said they've got LPG, that's good.
They said he put butane in there.
And then he said LPG, we have LPG.
So which one are they putting in?
Well, I asked for LPG, so hopefully LPG.
Job 1.
We're cooking with gas, literally.
Well, we have broken free of the lethargy that comes upon you when you're in a marina for a while. You get a bit lazy. And we are heading northwest from Vuda Marina to the southernmost Yasawa Islands. So there are 2 groups of islands that stretch over the west coast of Fiji. The Mamanuccas, which is where we've been in Malolo and Malolo-Lele, and the Yasawas. So this is the bottom of the Yasawas, and this is Waya Island. And we're going to tuck around into the northernmost bay. It's going to be a little bit windy and rainy for the next couple of days, maybe. The work experience where the person is on duty in Fiji, so it's a very unreliable weather reports. But anyway, and hopefully we'll see some villages, go and do some sevu sevu, and get some snorkeling and hopefully some diving in. Sevu sevu is yanguana or kava, but it's the tradition of saying thank you to the village for allowing them allowing you to anchor in their bay, or / ask permission to anchor in their bay and explore their village. So you go in, you find the chief, and you give them some yanguana, which is the kava roots, which they grind up and put into a powder. Jamie bought it when we were in Savu Savu, but the tradition is called Sevu Sevu.
Tripping down a road I've never been down, waiting for the sky to fall. The yellow moon, she lights my way, I'm not worried at all. Nobody's waiting on me, I can't recall when I felt this free. The gravel touching the sky is all I see. It's a
Rather unusually for Fiji, there actually is a lighthouse on that point. I was not expecting that. Normally they're marked on the chart, but they do not exist. That's quite cute though.
After pulling into the northern bay on Waya Island, we thought we'd be protected from the southeasterly wind, only to be hit by a northerly swell. So we headed round the western side, only to discover there was a southwesterly swell as well. And there at the bottom, there was a southerly swell, at which point we gave up.
We're at an anchorage that is near a village, so we are required to do Sevu Sevu. It's got a small break in the rain. We're definitely going to get wet. It's not going to go well. But anyway, we'll go into the village and do the Sevu Sevu, which is the kava. And we've also got some t-shirts, bras, kids' clothes and stuff. Just some little extra things to say thank you. But let's go and get wet. That mat's so wet.
We met Onu, who kindly gave us a tour of the village.
Yep. Yes, out with a local boat.
Yeah, they have to go in the local boat, or if not, if the weather is not good, then they have to take 5 minutes chopper, like they call it chopper, to come
Yep.
for the pickup.
Oh, really?
A blue roof.
Yep.
That's a school.
It's a big village then.
Yes. It's a school for the 4 villages.
Do children, they walk there in the morning?
Yeah, they go
But from the other villages, they come by boat?
Yes.
This is the last remaining traditional bure in the village.
Hitting,
Octopus.
I was going to say, was it beating octopus?
Yes.
Yeah, we've seen that before in a village. Remember, Jamie?
Yeah.
All the women sitting down beating octopus to make it tender.
Yeah.
This is a very, very well kept village. So when you're walking around, you can see that most of the areas are, you know, the grass is cut, there are neat pathways, there are areas where they try and keep, you know, any waste or wood rubbish, that sort of thing, neatly piled up. And clearly they have leased some land to a few locations where there's a resort, one being built at the moment, it's almost finished. And now that it's stopped raining, it's actually really, really pretty in here.
So I asked Onu about the chickens. Do you eat the eggs or just eat the chickens? So we eat the eggs and we can find the eggs, which begs the question, why don't they keep the chickens in a small area so they can find the eggs, so they can eat more eggs?
It's quite a tree growing out of that old house.
I'm happy to stand here.
Well, the tide's going out, I may need a hand with this. Actually, let me rephrase. Tide's going out, I will need a hand with this. 1, 2, 3.
Just a big push and then you're good?
Yep, go.
Okay. One more sevu down. They got some shells. Welcome to Indecision City, where the weather is crap and the wind is strong. So we've had another rolling night at the Waya anchorage that we moved to because we had the rolling night the previous night before. And then last night we were trying to decide what to do because staying there is just untenable. It's just almost impossible to sleep. So the options are bash down south for about 4 or 5 hours today, where the winds are still probably only about 20 knots and the sea state hasn't built up too much, or head north, which is a logical thing to do, for about 5 hours, but not bashing into a running with it, to go into Blue Lagoon, which seems like it's protected. A few problems with the second scenario. We haven't been there before, so we don't have a track to follow. The charting in Fiji is dodgy at the best of times, and in rain and heavy weather, difficult to navigate where you don't know where the reefs are. And even with the satellite photos, it's not great. It's okay. In good weather, it would be absolutely fine. Even in strong winds and sun, it would be fine. We don't have that. And then, although once we get there, there's another day. So there's today, another day of bad weather tomorrow. It's a little bit better on Saturday, and then Sunday, Monday, Tuesday look quite nice, but then it looks really bad again. So up to 25 knots, 50 mil of rain every day for a couple of days. So we've made the decision to take a bit of pain today, go back down to Muscat Cove, which is where we were. I have booked a marina berth for tomorrow for a few days, but I'll just contact them today and see if we can come in a day early. If not, we'll just find a relatively sheltered anchorage. The good thing about Malolo and Malolo Lili is it's all inside a lagoon, so even if it's windy, you don't have that horrible swell that's been causing us all these dilemmas. So yeah, another moderately sleepless night of anchor watch last night. We didn't drag, nothing happened, but you're always just alert, a bit anxious. checking on it all the time. I got up in the middle of the night and just checked because the anchor had stretched to its absolute limit without dragging, but it just wasn't sure how close to the reef behind us we were, because we were sort of in a C shape of a reef, which technically should have given us some protection, but honestly I don't know that it made a lot of difference. So anyway, we're underway this morning. It's 20 past 9. Jamie's making coffee, which I absolutely need because I'm so sleep deprived. It's 2 nights of no sleep now. And we're just exiting the bay that is Waya Southern Bay. So we'll be in a bit of open water soon, which will give us an indication of what the rest of the day is going to look like. But given that the majority of the swell is coming from the southwest and we are completely exposed to the southwest at the moment, my gut feel is that although the wind will pick up today and it will rain, I don't know that it's going to get much rougher from a sea state perspective, but that could be famous last words. So an update will follow, no doubt. Anyway, time for coffee.
Well, that was a new experience, Denise. I just went to the toilet and we're bashing into it, right? So the boat's jumping around quite a lot. So you flush the toilet before you start to get the water level down a bit lower, because the water level is really moving around quite a bit. Turn that alarm off. So I've done my usual morning business. Because the boat is doing this,
Drop the kids off in the pool.
I dropped the Browns off at the local swimming pool, and anyway, they decided to bounce around and smack into my tackle, resulting in a true stage problem. One, you need to flush that content really quickly. I haven't finished doing my business, and then you got to clean up said tackle that had been smacked around by the Browns. What is going on? The joys of sailing. Yeah, I mean, you should put that sort of stuff on a brochure, shouldn't you? Sail the world and have your tackle smacked into by a bit of feces.
I have a new weather forecasting. Don't need an app, don't even need the internet. The coconut is swinging more than 45 degrees. It's rough. The coconut is wet. It's raining. The coconut has no shadow. It's overcast. That's it. That's the full weather report.
If you can't see the coconut, it's night time. We only have 10 nautical miles to go. We have 21, 22 knots on the nose, and we have to drive directly into it. So we're doing about 4 knots, just drop the main. Still raining, but we'll be in a... Oh, as Denise knocks all the sunglasses over and...
Can you hold that?
Anyway, where was I? We will be in a protected anchorage this afternoon at some point, and you know, in a few days' time it will be better and c'est la vie, basically. Would you agree?
I would agree. It has been exactly as we predicted, which was 5 hours of bashing into it. It's fine. We've done it before, we'll do it again.
Join us next week as we do a lap of Viti Levu. Drua means catamaran, averaging 10 to 15 knots.
Gravesite of Udre, the world's most notorious cannibal.
Please give us a thumbs up, subscribe, and place a comment below.